Hello and good night. This is just a stream complaining more than anything. But today tonight I should say, it was raining all day here in Barbados. I don't know if you get some rain, but it was raining. Sunday, had to had to get something to eat and all that. But last night was an experience too because I was in town. Um, I saw how the taxis work in Barbados. Like I saw, it's I know how it is in Barbados. Like I've taken cab. Well, I'll call them cabs, but I've taken cabs from what is this right there by Swan Street down to the port. I guess I've taken cabs from the airport to Sinadra where I'm at, and all I can say is like it needs to be improved. I know there's pricing, there's a pricing gouge in the market, but if you want to go somewhere, you gotta have money. I do know that this is something I know. All right, but tonight, what I want to talk about is Uber is coming to Barbados. A lot of people don't like it, but it's needed not only in Barbados alone, but throughout all of these countries which we travel to, because not only is it gonna add money to people, well, give people opportunities where they can make money through these stranded districts, and I should say stranded districts because where I'm at, the bus runs like once every 2 hours. You might get a bus. You have to walk really far to get a bus, and it's not nothing easy. So tonight, I just want to go over how I found out about this and dive in more to like what could happen if you guys give it a chance. All right. So recently, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I saw um, Dunks Man. If you live in Barbados, and you don't know Dunks Man. It's a huge loss. But he's a guy. He's active. He's outside. He gets around. He's a taxi driver, I must say. So he knows the business. All right. But just hear a little bit of what he has to say, and then I'm gonna uh, switch to the story behind it because this is how I found out, and this is how I'm gonna share it with you guys.
They tell me that I wonder if this is right. I know it got me a little confident. They tell me that Uber coming here. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know. Right now, Barbados already saturated with taxis. Barbados can't have no Uber right now. Barbados, so we don't need Uber. Uber can only add to, only make things work, can only add to the already paying that the taxi drivers going through already. How do you get these people that got authority could want allow Uber to come here? We don't need a ride yet, Uber. We already need a Uber. We already saturated with taxis. All the people that in charge, the government, cause the government is in charge. Are you doing that? You see what you don't get involved in this politics things? And when you see what you hear politics, it appears to me that I ain't gonna say no, cause we talk too much, you can get cussed. But when I know where you coming from, we don't need a ride get Uber. We're right no taxis, crawlers, ride get things high, the cost of living high, gas high, car parts, everything. You be stressing. How you ride get? We don't want to ride get Uber. Uber can make Uber is like add the fare, add the wood to the fare. You ride get. We don't need a ride get Uber. How these people call me mad. What the ride get? Barbers don't need a ride get Uber. How the what? These people can't be taken straight.
Is doing a very good job. People is not going to agree with everything that this government does. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, we have people, private entities doing taxi work, ferrying people around. We got taxi drivers. We got sufficient taxis. We don't need no more additional taxi transport services in Barbados because the cake is a big cake, and if all these entities get involved all the slices the cake can go. You understand what I'm saying? The taxis alone, the permits issued are going up to 3,000. You understand? Then we got people from the TAP program. Then we got something called Pick Up Barbados. Somebody else want to bring a new service, that was just launched by Sky Mall. I can't remember exactly what it was called, that was some private cars. We have enough transport services in Barbados already. We don't need any more.
We're already a small country.
We are already a country, only 300,000 people. You understand what I'm saying?
So I know, like, with some of the rates, you guys still go over the road traffic rates. So some of the rates from
Yeah, we
Uber,
were issued with something called a tariff.
right, and
Different prices.
some of the tariffs of Uber have been showing a bit lower. Do you guys plan to make a appeal on that?
Well, with the price of gas and stuff like that, we don't need to go under anymore with the pricing.
All right. So I heard this Nation News update. I heard it. I heard from people. Also, Barbados Today did an article which they announced that that Uber is moving to Barbados, but it has a backlash. And then they dive more and they went out, spoke to people, and this is what these people had to say. And I've read it before, and everything seems to be pretty much the same way all around. Uber's going to tap into our money. We don't want to share our money. We don't want to give up a hole which we have on the taxi market right now. So I was looking for it. I found it here. Elderly guy speaking about Uber. He's very against it, but little does he know it's supposed to start this week, Wednesday. I believe Wednesday the 21st or the 22nd. So let me see if I can get some audio in on this, because can't hear nothing.
I believe that the government has acted recklessly and irresponsibly in giving the license for Uber to operate here in Barbados. When I say the government acted recklessly, the government receives direct revenue from the Barbados revenue from the Taxi Association. The government receives indirect or receives revenue indirectly from insurance companies. They receive revenue indirectly from the gas pumps. They receive revenue indirectly from people who bring in parts and accessories. They receive revenue indirectly from people who bring in vehicles on behalf of taxi operators. So that's a lot of revenue the government is getting. Now, with Uber coming, it's going to be detrimental to us. From my research, Uber uses privately owned vehicles for their work. So if Uber comes to Barbados and does that, it will mean that will cripple the taxi fraternity in Barbados. What will happen is that many taxis will go out of business. So when they say recklessly, the government operated recklessly, it means that they're going to lose tremendous amounts of revenue from the taxi revenue because of the downsizing and because of there not being that amount of taxis on the island. Uber is an international company, so their revenue, their profits will skyrocket. The question is, will that revenue or the revenue from Uber remain in Barbados? The answer is definitely no. It is an international company, therefore the revenue will be leaving the island. The government get their little piece, but those profits will be leaving and going out of the island. Now, Madam Prime Minister, if you really care, what you will do is show the country by having a dialogue with us, taxi operators, so that we'll be able to sit down and deal with this conundrum that is coming to our taxi industry.
Barbados is too small workload for Uber. Uber suit like the big countries like Canada, England, United States, the big mass countries. Barbados too, so we are just 2x2.
All right. So I'm not gonna take up too much time, but I've read it. I read the article here. It says taxi operators are called for an urgent meeting with Prime Minister Mia Maltley to discuss government decisions to grant international rides hailing giant Uber a license to operate in Barbados. They warned that this could cripple the local taxi industry, jeopardizing hundreds of livelihoods and drain much needed revenue from the economy. Uber launches expect next week. We would take the second ride hailing company to operate in Barbados following Pickup Barbados, which entered the market 5 years ago. However, operators say Uber's model, using privately owned vehicles rather than licensed taxis, pose direct threat to their survival, undermine decades of regulations, investments, and contributions to the state. Several frustrated taxi drivers gathered outside Bridgetown Port on Friday morning, where they spoke to Barbados Today about their concerns and appealed directly to Prime Minister to intervene before it was too late. All right, so I'm not gonna read the rest of it, but this is that whole interview we just watched. Now I've got to be honest, and this is speaking to someone that I am a local, I should say. I am in Barbados right now. To get around, it can be hell, because there's no actual bus that runs my side constantly. If they send a bus, it's one bus every 2 hours or 3 hours. I'm speaking facts. There's times where, I wanted to go out and, I got to wait for the bus to come. And the bus usually comes down here at 6 o'clock because we live in Baxter's. So there's only one bus that travels down this side. All right. Everything is in Bridgetown. You got Christchurch. You go to Bridgetown. You want to go to St. James. You go to Bridgetown. You hop on a Spicetown bus. You want to go up Oystons. You catch a Route 6 bus, or you take whatever bus you need to get up there. Right. Now, that's a lot of time. I give you, that's a lot of time. And I don't think you might see it. But trust me, it's a lot of time that passes when you get on a bus ride that should be about, I don't know, about about 20 minutes, or say like 30 minutes, and it takes over an hour, sometimes an hour, to get in town. Now that does not negate the fact that Uber is here in Barbados. But what I'm trying to say is that the transportation is a lack of transportation, not only in Barbados, but throughout this island. I'll tell you that. There's hot spots in Barbados, of course. The tourist areas, that's great, that have taxis up and down. Whenever I go up Oystons, I see like so many taxis up there, and a lot of buses that are just not working. They're just, people are just hanging out up there. So it can be hard to not to get up and through there, but it can be hard for me to get back home once I'm out. And because the buses in Barbados shuts down at 12 o'clock at night. Every bus leaves the the station at either 12 o'clock or 12:02, 12:10. It leaves after it picks up the last stack of people, and it goes. All right. Now, where Uber comes in is that we all don't need to go home at the same time. We all don't live the same place, but Uber is a service which two people can hail a ride going in two different directions. Not only do you pick up this person's fare, you pick up fare from another person, and then on that way you can also collect another ride and pick that up too. Now, what I'm saying to you is, being the fact that there's so many elderly people in my neighborhood, people want to get out. People might have to go to the doctor, or somebody might feel sick or whatever. Boom, you waiting for a bus, or you might not feel good. Not everybody has a car. Not everybody's capable of, hey, I want to go to the hospital. Can you call a taxi for me? Can you get a taxi? Can you get somebody to drop me? No. And this is not just speaking for people that live here, but for like people like me, or tourists in general, people who own property in Barbados, but you just own the property. You don't stay here the whole year. You have to go out, you have to work, you have to come back. That's where Uber comes into play, because I don't feel I should have to pay a guy like $100 just to come up here in San Andrew or to go in St. Lucie or any. I don't feel I should have to move around my city that like that. And all of you guys stay mainly in like a few areas down here. Sure, you shout out, you shout out and say, "Oh, hey, taxi, taxi, taxi," and it's nothing wrong with that, right? But if I want a taxi, I'm let's say I'm in St. James, and I plan to go to St. Andrew, you're gonna charge me like at least $40 or at least $30 or something like that. I I don't know the prices specifically, but you can tell, and I've been checking too, because even the airport, it says that you pay $40 to get from the airline from the airport to like Christchurch. You pay like $40 or $50, and people are mad at that because you're paying that little money to go that short, and we have to go further out, and it's like it's just extremely expensive. At a certain point, it starts to add up. Now, something I personally wish that, and I don't think that the drivers know this, that Uber is not just like a one person hill, but like a lot of you guys live in these neighborhoods, because I can tell this because I know a taxi driver, a few of them now, but I know a taxi driver who lives down here with me, and he drives all the way to the city when, people are going out, people are looking to go out in the nighttime, people are looking to hang out, people are just looking to get home. You got to wait hours and hours for your bus. You take two buses. If you catch a church bus, you might get home, but you got to walk down. You got to take this, you got to take that. They don't go here, they don't go there. You got so many taxi drivers where I live at that if I'm going to town, I can say, look, hey, all right, so I should call an Uber. I ain't got no problem paying for the Uber to go to like to Warren's or something like that. But if I'm paying you, like, let's say about $20 from here to Warren's, right? And you pick somebody else up on the way, because that's how Uber works. You can, what is it, a public ride, a share ride? You can add somebody else, and that's increasing to your amount, your dividend, your money at the end of the day. So it's not just me you can pick up, it's this person. And I noticed, like, everybody's proud of their cars, everybody's proud of their little whips, and it's like, yeah, but Barbados, your vehicles are really small. Some of your vehicles are so small. It might seem like it's big to you, but it's small. Trust me. But yeah, so it's just a different way of getting the same thing. But everybody's not going the same place. But for people like us, we want to get out, we want to get home, we want to, move around. But you can't, given the fact that it's just not possible with the taxis. They stay in town. You don't see a taxi down here for nothing unless somebody's coming home or somebody's going out. And I'm going to tell you that because that's me. Only a few taxi guys I know down here, and those are friends of mine that are working. But I want to talk about the transit system now. Like Barbados, you think it's something, but I was in town when I first came here, and I was looking like, yo, when is this bus gonna come? Like, what time is this bus gonna come? And I was searching for it. I was searching for it. I must say, I was searching for it, right? And this is what you get. This is actually what you get. This is where she told me to go. It's Transport Board Route Finder. So there's not that many buses that travel in Barbados, right? But there's these things which you guys have become so accustomed to that we need to talk about this. We all have phones. There's no reason why, as much as I was having a conversation with my friend too, he said he liked these new transit buses which Barbados implemented. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they're very good. The buses, the ride is comfortable, no problem. All right. The AC sometimes gets a little chilly, but at the end of the day, I'm good. But with those buses implemented, there should be a way for, how do we say this? Because when you get into like the transportation business, you know that there's somebody in contact with you at all times at the station. All right, there's a station, and you can do it just like every other business in America. I know it might not be America, but you can do it like every other business in America. Set up a GPS on the bus so that you know where the bus is at every time. Implement that into an app and put it out there for patrons of the bus service. I'm gonna show you guys like what I'm talking about, because this is nothing. This is just trash to me. Like, a bus is leaving at 5:52 or whenever it's leaving, but like this is just, honestly, this is just trash to me. The timetables is there, but it's still trash to me because this doesn't tell me anything. Where's the bus? How many buses are on the road? And where's this bus at? How long do I have to wait? None of that you can tell from this. I wish I had a better way of explaining it to you, but I'm going to show you guys something which me as a New Yorker, me as somebody that is not only here in Barbados, I don't have a car at the moment in Barbados, and I mean, I'm suffering. Trust me, I'm suffering, because to wait for these buses, it's crazy. Catch one, they do this to us in Andrew all the time, but we have like one ZR that runs up and down, up and down. So if you miss it for the 3 o'clock, you got to wait till like 5 to get it back again. All right. So this is something which I wish they would implement. It's the New York Transit app. They could do this. I mean, it's not, there's nothing wrong with it either, but understand this is the transit app. So I'm in Whitehill. All right. And I want to go to in town. Let's say I want to go to Bridgetown. All right. I want to go to Bridgetown. All right. What time is this bus going to come? Did I miss it? Where is it? Why not add a GPS tracking on the buses, right? And put it into the app so that you know, all right, so the bus is going to be here for 4:30. I need to be ready for 4:30. I know I'm going out the house. Boom. I don't want to walk. Trust me, I find this with me all the time. I don't know if it's just my body or it's just the weather or what it is. Barbados is a really hot place. After I get dressed and I put on cream on my skin, before I know it, I'm sweating. I'm really sweating. And I mean, I'm not the I'm not like the most cleanest person, but I mean, at a certain point, the sweat then turns into, it stays in your body. So, well, it stays on your clothes. So you then start to smell kind of sweaty, and you're like, ugh. But why not? Why not just use an app like this? Why? I mean, after all this time, you guys can't implement a map covering the Google Maps, so you can implement Google Maps. Google Maps, so you can attach it to your bus, and you know where the bus is. You can offer an application to riders. Download it on your app so you know what time the bus is coming. I can tell you what time the buses come up my side because I hear them. All right, and it's once every blue moon. Like once, I'll be honest with you, the last bus is gonna come at like 12:30 or 12:40, give or take. But right now, I have no way of knowing where this bus is at. Let me log into the app. Do like they do in America. Put a GPS on it and put it on the transit app that you guys are gonna have. And then I know where the bus is at. I know what time it's gonna be here. I can get ready for that time. I won't have to be sweaty. I know, well, look, hey, the bus is coming here. You know, it's gonna be up. But I don't think you guys. I don't think Barbados is advanced enough to do that. That's something I would love to see happen here in Barbados as well. I have the transit app. There's different apps you can use to just know where the bus is and what time it's gonna be here and how long it's gonna take for the bus to come. And it's like, I just got to be honest. It's a lack of transportation. It's a lack of transportation because I know there's owners and you got to put the money where the money is, right? But the money might not be it to you, but it's for us. Come on now, it's people. You got people all up here. What is it? Crab Hill, Spikestown, Belle Plaine. You get one bus. You got to wait hours. At least give me a time that I know. All right, well, I know this bus is gonna be here. It just left town. It's in it's it's in St. Thomas right now. Let me get dressed. Let me prep to get ready to go out. You can't do that. Not down here. Not from what I've seen. But yeah, that's what I had to speak on. I know I might take a while, but that's what I wanted to talk about, man, because it's insane. You can't get the taxis when you want, and to get a taxi, you gotta book it in advance. And I'm sure people that are just coming to the island who don't have the means to, rent a big hotel and all of this stuff. You know, you don't have to spend so much. Barbados was so sweet. Back in the days, Barbados was sweet. But now, Barbados has become a revenue place. Like every place they're selling you this, they're trying to sell you this. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I feel like you're just trying to poke me in the eye. Not to mention, this is something that I've seen happen tons of times where it could be avoided. But because these bus drivers, I'm not saying all, but bus drivers, they feel you're cheating them when you give them, when you say, hey, I'm putting a 5 in the bin, I'm putting 5 in there, I want my $1.50 back, right? He said, well, I ain't tell you to put 5 in there, I didn't see when you put it in. And I'm like, oh boy, well, I want my $1.50 back. And you might stand by the door, you might stand right there and say, hey, can I get my $1.50 back? And he like, hey, hold up. Like he doesn't know why you're standing there. And I'm saying this because this has happened to me, and it has happened to another fellow which I've seen on the bus too. So it's not just me alone that's going through this. I pay, and it's okay if I'm pushing $5 in there. Sometimes I feel like, you know what, fuck it, it is what it is. The $1.50 is just out of my hand because they don't have a way of giving me change from the bus, right? But still, yet they know I'm supposed to get change, and they're upset with me for asking other patrons before they even get on, give me the $1.50 that you have, the $3.50 in your hand, give me $1.50 from that and put your $2 in there. And they get mad. They get pissy mad. I don't know what's going on, but that's how I feel like that's how they have been getting away with robbing people. But hey, that's how I feel. I'm sorry this shit took so long, but I had to get this off my chest, man. Anyway, holla at y'all later. Stay safe, stay blessed. And, tell me what you think. Is Uber going to be a good... How do you feel, honestly, about it, I should say? Because I've been researching this, and I'm telling you, Uber's not bad because not everybody's out there in Christchurch. Not everybody's out there in St. James and Spikestown and all of these areas where, there's a lot of traffic. So there's a lot of tourist activities, a lot of bars, a lot of hotels, a lot of place. Everybody doesn't live Oystenside or take these Route 6 buses and, eat a lot. All of these places have a huge amount of transportation. Why can't we in these other parts which are further away get a means to say, well, look, hey, I have to go home, right? If me and my partner are paying for this ride, right? Because Uber has Uber Share where you pay a piece and another person can pay a piece. But the thing about it is it's going to be connected to your bank accounts. So it's done digitally where money doesn't have to exchange from my hands to your hands. I don't have to pull $20 and $30 and none of that. It's done digitally. most of these old guys, they don't understand how it works, and most of these young guys, they don't even know or care. But I'll leave it alone. Holla at y'all later. Stay safe, stay blessed. Have a great Monday morning, Sunday night. So just, yeah. Not have a good day at work.